to. The easiest way to build self-confidence. There's no magic button. I can't say, hey, this plane is going down. Who can fly it? Put your hand up. I can. I'm confident. Repetition, 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 right? What does Malcolm Gladwell call it? The 10,000-hour rule? There's no magic button. I recruited a goalie from Colombia, South America one year. Big, tall, 6'3" man. You know, he had hands like stone. I thought he was like Flipper. Every time I throw him the ball, down onto the ground. I was like, oh my God, we're in trouble. Simple solution. Get to the wall, kick a ball against the wall and catch it. Kick the ball against the wall and catch it. His goal was 350 a day for 8 months. He came back, his hands were calloused, the moisture on his hands were literally gone. He is now playing in Europe. Magic? No. Repetition, repetition, repetition.
I can't stop.
I gotta feel myself on the field, in my stance, feeling the grass under my feet, feeling the temperature, hearing the crowd, seeing everything around me, and then running my route, watching the ball leave the quarterback's hands, flying through the air, me catching it, me tucking it in, and then feeling my legs move after the catch. I've seen it, I've already felt it, I've already been there, and now it's just, okay, that was a rehearsal, now let's go do it again.
When we create a mental image, what we're doing is we're forcing our mind to create something that feels lifelike. When you have an image of something and you rehearse it over and over and over again, the body basically grooves a track inside of itself of efficiency.
Brady said one of the more difficult lessons he's learned is the quality of his practice performance from week to week has very little to do with where he ends up on the depth chart every Sunday. And when Sunday does roll around, Tom Brady imagines himself playing that game and taking every snap.
I'm really trying to stay out there and take a lot of the mental reps, and I see what Drew does out there, and I know the play, and I'm looking at the defense, and when the ball snapped, I said, God, what would I have done on that play? Or why did Drew throw there? Or, wow, I see exactly what he was thinking on that. Or what would I have done differently? And I think if you apply that throughout the game, let's say you're the backup at the time and you're put in the fourth quarter, that first snap in the fourth quarter can't be the first snap you've taken all day mentally, or you're going to be so far behind you'll never catch up. I mean, it's going to be 4 hours after the game before you realize what was actually going on.
Players are really so heavy into the mental aspect of the game, they're looking for any edge. And that is a way to improve confidence, is positive self-talk.
Time for the takeover. Time for the takeover. Psychology is kind of that new wave that can give athletes that advantage that they'd never considered before.
Set this crowd out tonight, E. Set it out, baby. I always tell myself when I'm warming up during pregame, I tell myself, give them a performance today, E. Set it out, baby. Show them the best. Not only thinking it, but, speaking out loud, talking out loud to yourself.
Most athletes think confidence is kind of a static trait. There's nothing you can do about it. You're either confident or you're not.
Who do you want to be?
But confidence and mental toughness and focus.
You want to be good or you want to be great?
Are all psychological skills that you can turn from a weakness into a strength.
How do you want to be remembered? Because this is when they remember. Passion, drive, determination. Who are you? Let's go.
That's something that gets me going, talking to myself, getting myself mentally prepared for the task at hand.
You talking about top 5? No. Number 1. That's what I want to be. So go out and prove it. Let's show the world what you got, what you can do.
One of the main reasons why I talk to myself is that I hear a voice.
Make them adjust to my game.
Telling me something to focus on.
Smart, focus, footwork, all must be on point. I know I'm the greatest. I know I'm gonna be the greatest. Can't think about it too much. Play football, do what you do. Every single play, every single play.
I wanted to ask you, there are these moments across all different sports that are really high pressure moments where individuals need to step up and take a penalty kick or hit a free throw, make the right pitch in a certain moment. As a mental skills coach, Dr. Hacker, what advice would you give a player and about how to prepare and what kind of work can they do ahead of time to perform their best in those pressure-packed moments?
The first thing I would say to any coach at any level, there's just no substitute for having the knowledge. And in pressure, all human beings, boys, girls, men, women, NBA, NHL, and World Cup champions like Brandy, all human beings are impacted by high pressure. Your pressure might not come at the same time as someone else, but pressure impacts human beings. And it does so in sort of two predictable ways. One is because it matters so much. This free throw matters so much because this penalty kick matters so much. One of the common changes that happens in pressure is you think more. You say, okay, I'm going to do it exactly. You start taking something that is automatic, that you've done all your life, and now you try to control it. I'm going to step left, step right. I'm going to lock my ankle. And you overthink it, and then what ifs become whiffs. So you have to know that there's a tendency to think too much, to try to control it, and you need to have practice in place where you learn to trust your training, where you shut down that talking brain, that active brain, that worrying brain, and you free yourself to do what your body and mind's trained for all its life.
Stakes are high. All eyes are on her to carry the team to the final.
I don't feel pressure. I kind of just bear down and try to overpower it in some way. I guess I've just always have thrived in pressure situations. I just feel like if I'm given the opportunity, I will do what's best for my team, no matter what. If that's scoring goals, it's scoring goals. If that's playing defense, it's playing defense. It's taking care of the small little things that make the whole succeed and move forward. That's really what it takes to be a leader.
The important thing with learning to control yourself is that you have to take responsibility for your performance. Your coaches will help you develop those abilities to respond to pressure situations. And that responsibility, the ability to respond, is critical. It takes physical skills and it takes the mental skills. Now, how the responsibility plays itself out? As an athlete, you don't have control of what goes on around you. You only have control of how you choose to respond to it. There are the controllables and the uncontrollables. And so often, athletes focus on the uncontrollables. Umpires, playing time, field conditions, weather, starting times, all sorts of factors that you don't have control of. All you have control of is your attitude, your effort, and your focus. And that's where you want to put your attention. Second part of responsibility is you got to be in control of yourself before you control your performance. Self-control leads to body control, leads to skill control. So one of the key things we have to learn is to control ourselves before we control the performance.
Here's Edelman broken up, and the pass is no sign yet. Edelman comes down with a football. They're saying it's a catch. Another look at this. Alford knocked it up into the air, and let's see who comes down with it. Oh, that's a catch.
Misses. Second minute into extended time. Comes and misses. She's known to do this.
The inbounds pass comes into Jordan. Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win it! They win it! Set the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Get it up. On the way. No, returned by Chris Davis. Davis goes left. Davis gets a block. Davis has another block. Chris Davis. No.
5.8 to go in the fourth. Into Deladon. With 3. Deladon with 2. Deladon on the spin. And the winner for a rated Deladon at the
Away first time, good start from the Bulls. Bulls leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. 9.58. The world record's gone. That's more like it. Sub 9.6.
One pitch on the way to Edgar Martinez. Swung on the line. That would be one formation. Here comes Joy. Here's Junior to third base. They're going to wave him in. The throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners